Hello, Mr. Betts here. Let's take a look at a couple examples, pretty straightforward examples of applying the product rule. So we have a function defined as the product of the natural log of x times the sine of x. The natural log function and the sine function are both functions that we can take the derivative of by themselves. So what we want to do now is we want to find f prime of x. So I'm going to write this out. I'm going to think of this as u representing the natural log function and v representing the sine function. So when we take the derivative, I'm just going to write this off to the side here. So I'm thinking to myself, the derivative here is going to be the derivative of the first, so the derivative of u times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So that's the product rule. And so f prime of x is going to be the derivative of natural log. Derivative of natural log function is 1 over x times the second, so just times sine of x. We're not taking the derivative of that, plus the first, natural log of x, times the derivative of the second. The derivative of sine of x is cosine of x, and we're done. That's all you have to do. So when you see a problem like this where you have a function that is a function times another function, we're going to apply the product rule. The second example here is very similar. Derivative is represented in Leibniz notation instead of prime notation, but same idea here. So the derivative of y with respect to x. So we're going to do the product rule. So derivative of the first is x squared, so the derivative is going to be 2x using the power rule, times the second, plus the first, times the derivative of the second. Now this seems a little weird here. So this is, if we call this v, this is actually v, and this is the derivative of v. But the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. So that's it. We're done. If this were a multiple choice question, very often what would happen is that e to the x would get factored out. So we could write this as e to the x times the quantity 2x plus x squared. Certainly no need to do that, but you could if you wanted. If you do something like that and you make a mistake, though, that's going to cost you points on the AP test. It's going to cost you points on an assessment in here. I also want to point out that with the product rule, since we're adding, it really doesn't matter the order. So I usually say derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. If we flip these, the commutative property of addition says that we get the same thing. So it doesn't matter with the product rule what order we do it. I do strongly recommend doing it in this order because when we do the quotient rule in the next topic, this is the order that the quotient rule has to be, and it's going to involve subtraction. So the order does matter there.